All right, Mr. Rack.
I'm back.
You could use it for reinsurance.
What?
For reinsurance.
Ron Rack, 10580 Southeast 131st Place, Ocklawaha. First, want to start off with a little judicial notice here. I love reading court cases because, well, quite frankly, I learn a lot from them. This is U.S. versus Pruden and U.S. versus Tweel. And here's what the court said. Silence can only be equated with fraud when there is a legal and moral duty to speak, or when an inquiry left unanswered would be intentionally misleading. Those are powerful words. We cannot condone this shocking conduct. The second one, and actually I have three here. If that were the case, we hope our message is clear. This sort of deception will not be tolerated, and if this is routine, it should be corrected immediately. And in Morrison versus Coddington, it says, fraud and deceit may arise from silence where there is a duty to speak the truth, as well as from speaking an untruth.
What were what are the context of the cases?
I think two of them were tax cases. And the third one, I can't remember what the Morrison one is, to be honest with you.
And so they're in reference to what?
Well, just government officials being silent when they should be answering questions. It was all related to government officials not being upfront or honest or not answering questions when and we kind of see that with Hillary Clinton right now, right? I mean, this is and not just her. I mean, there's this whole thing is blown up, but that's kind of an example of what they're speaking of here is when those that are representing the people in a government position fail to answer inquiries or questions, which, quite frankly, I mean, I've kind of gone that route here with you guys. I mean, I've asked questions, I've sent emails, I've not gotten anything back, and you know, it really distresses me when there's silence to my questions. And you know, you guys work for us. There's been many that have told you this, and you guys even admit that you do, and yet when we ask very good questions, we don't get very good answers most of the time. And it's distressing to me. It really is. And I know it puts you on the spot, but y'all took the position. You know, I've had people ask me to start running for county council, and my response is no, because I feel like I'm a little bit more dangerous on this side of the dais than that side. And there's some that agree with me. But just a couple of quick questions about the Mall Barker house. And I apologize to my constituents because I missed this whole thing. I didn't realize that this whole big thing was coming out like this, and somehow it just dropped off the radar to me. But a couple of my questions, where did the funding come to move that house? Who put up the 200?
Came out of reserves.
But it came out of the county funds, though, right?
Correct. Yep.
Yes.
See, why wasn't that put on a referendum for the people to vote on?
It doesn't have to be. We have the authority to expend those funds.
To move a private house?
It's not a private house. It's a public house.
They've donated it to the county.
Well, and everybody that I've talked to, they're extremely upset that and especially when we've got a sheriff's department that had to make a choice between a new phone system or a helicopter because of funding, and we spend and is this going to be the end of this, or is this going to be like the money pit, where we're going to keep throwing money into this venture, if you will? I mean, what are we looking to do here? Are we looking to set up a museum? Are we, you know, is this an investment for the community? What is the intention here with this?
Well, it was an investment for the community in preserving a part of not just our county's history, but our nation's history. I mean, it drew national media attention. And I think what you have to think about is where it's going to be. We're going to be able to open that up as a museum. We had retired FBI agents that actually came down and were very interested in that. I don't know if you are familiar, they took a metal detector out to the property. They actually found shell casings from the actual shootout. They found Fred Barker's ring. And all this stuff is going to be, that house is going to, on Carney Island, is going to be recreated, and it will be opened as a museum. You would be shocked at the amount of interest we've had in that. Live fed the house being moved
Well, and
across.
that's how I actually found out about this.
And did you
because-
happen
and
to
I missed
notice
it.
how many people were viewing that live feed?
Well, but that doesn't
There were over
mean.
150,000
Right.
people that were watching that live feed. We had over 700 people that came out to the park to watch the move. There's a lot of people. Is it a great part of our history? No, absolutely not. But it is a very, very huge part of our law enforcement community's history, and they have a great interest in that, as well as a lot of other people. I spoke to some young people out there that had never even heard of it, and it had sparked their interest in history and in learning about this. So we expect that we're going to draw visitors, not just here locally, we're going to draw visitors from around the area within a driving distance, but we also expect that as people are making plans to come and visit Central Florida, this is going to become a destination to them also. So I would say that it's an investment into our community and into preserving a part of our history.
Unfortunately, the people that I kind of represent, they don't feel like that. And,
So who are the people you represent, by the way? How are you deemed the representative? I was just curious.
well, just because they can't get here.
Oh,
So I
okay.
go out and talk to people and let them know what's going on. And
You said your
and-
constituents. I was just curious.
Well, my neighbors and whatnot like that, people within my neighborhood that can't make
Understand.
it to these meetings and whatnot. And so, I'm kind of I kind of feel like I know how John the Baptist must have felt, because I feel like the Lone Ranger up here sometimes. But at the end of the day, we're spending money on stuff that, man, there's a lot of other things. I mean, we couldn't come up with $90 to get a veteran home, and we're spending $250,000 to move a house. And I don't,
Mr. Rack, I'm going to,
I don't know
I'm
how
going to go
can-
out on a limb here and say that I am sure, had any commissioner sitting up here, probably any of our staff members, had any of us known about that veteran, we probably would have taken the money out of our own pockets to do
well,
the
and I
same.
would have too. I mean,
Yeah,
and
so I mean,
I get that. But
that's
but
kind of an
it's just-
unfair statement on your part.
Well, but it does kind of go with the situation in our county, though, because, we do have a huge veteran situation here.
And Tuesday, we will be opening our new Veterans Resource Center, which is right here by the library, where we have partnered with the private sector to make sure that we can have everything that we possibly can have within our community, any resources that we can possibly have in a one-stop shop for our veterans. And we invest in our veterans on a daily basis. I encourage you to come to the building dedication on Tuesday, November the 8th at 10 a.m.
I'll be there,
And you can see how much we really do invest in our veterans. So, and I encourage you to encourage the people that ask you these questions to actually get informed about why we did what we did. We didn't just walk over there and say, hey, we'd like to move the Mall Barker house to Carney Island because we think it would be a great thing for the county. That's not the way it happened at all. The property was sold. The house would have either been moved out of our community or it would have been destroyed.
Well, and I understand
And
that.
so I think when you look at it like that, I think that preserving a part of, as I said, not just our county's history, but our nation's history, it's kind of important. And I also think that we will get the money that we have invested back into that through tenfold, probably even more than that over time, from the visitors that this is going to draw to the area. And I also would encourage you to learn about what tourism actually does for Marion County. And when we make the investments that we make into that, the return on investment that we actually get for that, I think you'd be quite surprised at what it does for our community as a whole. Sometimes you can't just look at things as, oh, they spent that money just on that. We have to look at the whole big picture. Okay, if we spend this money, what are we going to get back for our investment? And I can assure you that our investment into that is going to bring back a return that's going to be very, very valuable for the county.
Well, let me just make one parting statement, and then I'll bid you guys good day. To really make a good investment in the county, I think we need to actually start producing something. That's,
We agree, and
you know, and I know FedEx is here, but actually FedEx doesn't really produce anything.
No,
It's a
it's a
hub. And
distribution.
I've been a truck driver for 15 years or 16, I don't know, as well. So I understand how that goes, but
But
if
FedEx
we-
did create a lot of jobs, and we now have AutoZone, which is creating a lot of jobs.
But even at that, you know,
And that's
we need real
manufacturing.
production.
Yes,
Right.
and we
need
all
to
agree on
produce
that.
something. So, all right, guys, with that, I'll bid you. And to those of you who are leaving, it was a pleasure meeting you guys. And as we say in the military, fair winds and following seas. Have a good day now.
Thank you, Mr. Rack. All right,